What's going on, people? It's your boy Juggernaut '08, and I'm coming at you live. You already know, but today we got none other than possibly the GOAT of MBL Live, OSU. Say hello to the people.
Please hold your applause. Settle down, everyone. Everyone, settle down. Deep breath. Deep breath. All good. I appreciate you having me on. It's good to talk to you.
Oh man, yeah, it's great, man. You know, the people have been asking for it. I look at you, man, and you're a true inspiration. You know, you definitely put it down on NBL Live, and it's just crazy because I remember years ago, you just kind of first starting and doing it, and I mean the growth that you've had, amazing, man, amazing. You know, truly, congratulations.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, again, I've got a great team. It's been a process. It's let's see. I did my the first broadcast I did would have been, I want to say it was July of last year. Took over on the network in November, and we've been rolling since then. So it's been a journey, but it's been a good journey. I love every bit of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and the people love you, man. The people love you. It's crazy. Your enthusiasm is unmatched. You and Bomber are a great team. You guys definitely put it together. But before we get into really all that, let me ask just, straight up, how's your NBL season going?
That's a fun question because a lot depends on what happens on NBL Live tonight. I'm sitting at 10-6 right now. This will have been 4 straight years. So in this cycle, I've had 10 wins every season. I missed the playoffs once at 10-6, and I need some help tonight. I need old Unisolated to win tonight. If Unisolated wins, I'll make the playoffs. But I play in it's without a doubt. I don't care what anybody says. I play in the toughest division in the MBL. I've got the undefeated Los Angeles Chargers owner Gubb is an absolute beast. And then Draco and Dark Brawler both are 2 guys who just are unbelievably difficult to play against. So, but again, you got to have fun with it. You got to roll with it. It's definitely a challenge. But yeah, I mean, I'm never going to complain about being 10-6. That's 4 wins over 500. Yeah.
For sure not, man. That's a great record, and congratulations on that. You are in probably the hardest division I've seen NBL put together in a while. And going off that, who right now in your mind is the favorite to win the Super Bowl? I mean, I understand that the Chargers are unblemished, but are they capable of going all the way to the ship and taking on a team such as the Lions and winning it all?
Yes, 100%. I have been high on this Chargers team for a couple seasons now. The question they've had for the last couple of seasons has been at the quarterback position. They went out and got Carson Wentz last free agency, solidified the position. I think you can't have the Chargers not be the favorite at 16-0. But if there's another team out there who I like, you can't count out the Lions, but I love that Vikings team. Jack Gerberry at quarterback has solidified that team. They're the number 1 scoring offense in the MBL. And they have been the team that's had the Lions numbers the last couple of seasons. They've been able to beat them. They had one game this year that I know Brad Kaya didn't play, but the Vikings won the game 41-14 on NBL Live. The Vikings team is very good, and I don't think anybody's really planning for them. That's why they're sort of my dark horse to come out of the NFC, but the Chargers are 16-0. If Melvin Gordon stays healthy and they give him the ball, that team, that offensive line, that defensive line, it's so good.
Yeah, they're a problem, man. I watched them perform, and it's beautiful.
Try playing them twice a year. It's no fun.
Oh, man, that'd be rough, man. Melvin 2K, he's a beast.
Oh, he's a beast.
Now, with Melvin being mentioned, is he right now the best player in the NBL? That player, Melvin Gordon, is he the one?
That's a tough question. My inkling would be yes, because I think he's unbelievable. I think you watch him, you see how good he is. This is where my qualm comes in with running backs, because Melvin Gordon is a talent and he's absolutely fantastic, but Melvin Gordon wouldn't be here without his offensive line, and that offensive line in Los Angeles, it's the best offensive line for the run game that there is. So a lot of credit has to go to that O-line. If you look at them, they're just front to back solid. But I think what Melvin Gordon does once he has the ball in his hands proves why he's the best player, because even though he may have some big holes to run through, even though he may have some easy runs, once he gets into contact, he is the best player out there once he has that first contact because he can break tackles better than anybody. He's shifty on the outside, and then he has that breakaway speed. So I think Melvin Gordon's the best player in the NBL. But there are a lot of guys out there who have a lot of talent. I love Harvey Beckham in Detroit. I think he's absolutely fantastic, not only because he's fast, but he has great hands. I mean, you can't count out Matt Stafford. Takaris McKinley in Atlanta on the defensive line is fantastic. So there are a lot of great players, but I think Melvin Gordon, just with what he's been able to do this season, absolutely is the best. Yeah,
Melvin is a savage. I mean, I can't look at him versus any other player and say that he, that player impacts his team more. Melvin literally has brung that team to that 16-0 record on his back.
Yeah, and that's where you get into the sort of the best player versus most valuable player. I think if you take Melvin Gordon off that Chargers team, you put in a mediocre running back. I mean, I like that team a lot. At that point, they're a 10-6 team. It's Melvin Gordon makes them a 16-0 team, and that's why I think he's just unbelievably valuable.
Yeah, man. I definitely agree with that. Now we're going from the best player currently. Who's the best player that you think you've seen in the NBL just throughout all the seasons? We're in season 29, which is an amazing achievement for any league. I don't think any other league really comes that close. And, we've done a lot of years. I think I for one, say the greatest player I've ever seen was Slaughter from the Miami Dolphins a few years ago. But that was my player, so that's why I'm biased. Who's the best player you've seen?
Best Peter Legursky from the Carolina Panthers because I had him for 5 years and he was awesome. I think the best player I have seen, that core of wide receivers the Detroit Lions had last cycle, Gilbert DeGear, Whistler Ridgeway, Stephen Katula. Those three were so good, and I think out of those three, Gilbert DeGear, the size that he had on the outside was great. I love DeGear in Detroit. There have been a lot of great wide receivers we've seen over the last couple of years. Not only in, I think Trey Hackett comes to mind. Trey Hackett was Minnesota Vikings. Trey
Hackett was great.
Yeah. Trey Hackett, I would probably give the edge to because that Vikings team had no weapons other than Trey Hackett, and Trey Hackett would be doubled. It didn't matter. You threw the ball up to him, he went up to get it. I thought Trey Hackett was absolutely unbelievable. He's probably the most talented player I have seen in a long time. That's how good he was on the outside.
Nice. I remember last cycle, it was a whole thing. Car overrated.
Yep. Who
is our overrated player this year?
Overrated player this year. I think just based on watching him in the games we've seen on NBL Live, and they've been able to win games, but I would go with Jameis Winston in Cleveland, just because the Browns are in so many close games, and there's a big joke going around the NBL that a star must roll in a big old field of 4-leaf clovers and drink leprechaun's blood to get the luck that they have. But the reason why they have to be so lucky and they get so fortunate is because Jameis Winston starts the game, he'll throw picks right off the bat. And I was just looking at his stats. I mean, he's got some good numbers. I mean, almost a 4,000-yard passer, 24 touchdowns this season, 15 interceptions. But over the last couple of games, we have seen multiple interceptions thrown twice. I just don't believe in Jameis Winston a whole lot, and I think this Browns team, they have a great run game with Isaiah Crowell, and they have great wide receivers. Zach DeManch on the outside is fantastic. Jameis Winston is a liability early, but then he comes in the fourth quarter. He's so clutch sometimes. So I just think he's overrated. I like this Browns team a lot, but Jameis Winston, I don't know what to believe in this guy because he is so erratic.
I agree. I watched him play, and I actually started a hashtag during one of his games that Jameis was overrated. Now, Z-Star, hey, you know what? He kicked my butt just recently in the grid. And, this he's legit. He knows what he's doing on the sticks. He gets his team real juiced up. That guy can make it happen. He doesn't really always need a quarterback. So, Z-Star can pull it off.
Yeah.
Looking into it, I want to take a more personal turn with you here. Now, the game of football, we all seem to love it. Okay. That, or we just love Madden so much.
It's football.
I think it's football right now. even though we can just go off your name, who's your favorite college and NFL team?
I'm Ohio State all the way. I grew up in Columbus, so it started from a young age. Pro football, sadly a Browns fan. I've become a Lions fan as I've lived in Detroit the last couple of years. I've been in Michigan for 8 now. So the Lions are sort of my team I watch when I want to like have some hope of the playoffs, but I've been a Browns fan since they came back.
It's all right, man. You know what? We got the first 2 picks in the draft. You're a Browns fan. I'm a Giants fan. It's just how it's going.
We're coming back right there. Those draft picks. We're going to do it.
We're making progress. I got a family member on the Browns, by the way. You know, he's a good player. But I'm going to look at it like this. Did you ever play any football?
No. Nope. I mean, apart from, I love playing football with friends. Ohio State Michigan game every year. We would have some people over. We'd play football at halftime, but nothing organized. I was a short, fat kid. I was never strong, so they weren't really like offensive line. They were like, "Hey, how about you get the water cooler? You can do that one." I'm like, "Okay." So no, I never played organized football.
Well, amongst your friends, what was the position you found yourself loving to play?
I always loved playing quarterback. Mostly because it involved the least amount of running. But I just love being out there. I pick up football is one of my favorite things to do. And as I got older, it sort of got sad that not a lot of people want to do it because, lives and whatnot. But I always loved playing pickup football. Just even if you get 5 people out there, you can do something.
Yeah. It's always fun to really line it up with your friends. I was a running back and a safety. Running back was it was my spot. I mean, I was hard to tackle. I was really strong. There wasn't a lot of people as fast as me. Yeah. So it was a fun thing. That's what got me playing Madden. That's what got me loving the game. Even though Deion Sanders is my favorite player ever. It's crazy. Yeah, Deion, man. I named my son after Deion Sanders. That'll tell you everything. Now, looking into this, we'll jump back off the personal note. I want to know one thing. You've had a ton of hosts in your time, co-hosts in your time. Yeah. Who's your favorite that you've ever worked with?
I love everyone that I've worked with. I think, as people can see, I love working with Bomber. He is an absolute joy to work with because I think we have a lot of chemistry and bring an energy level that I think people like. The energy stays up on MBL Live. So I love working with Bomber. But I love working with Sonny. We do Highly Debatable. And Sonny is very analytical, and that's what makes it fun to debate him because he looks at the stats at a different level than a lot of people do. So, but those are the 2 people I've worked with the most. Also, I think as on the network, you sort of tend to schedule the people who work well together. So, but working with both of them is an absolute joy.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. The you and Bomber combo is so amazing. You and Sonny, I mean, come on, man, splash plays. You know how many times I've gotten drunk watching you guys'
dangerous game to play,
and games and stuff. Yeah. Man, it's a hard game, man. I'm 240 pounds. It's hard to not get drunk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The splash plays get rolling and you get rolling.
Oh yeah. But it's awesome. Now you came in and you lend your voice and your talents over to Grid Live. Mm-hmm. How do you feel that whole program's going? And what do you think the future of that's going to be like?
Grid Live's an interesting program. A lot of people like to take credit for it. It's something we've talked about for a long time. Of getting together and we've now got a great team working on it. I think it's a fun program. It's cool to see Grid get hyped about it. The biggest thing we want to do when we set up Grid Live was set it up as a teaching tool. Right now, just because of the situation we're in on the MBL network, we're basically running a 3-man team in broadcasting. And it's a lot of strain on the actual broadcasters to be doing 3-4 games a week. So we're always looking for more talent. We've done some stuff in the past with the MBL Broadcasters Academy. But we found that the best way to get people prepared to come on MBL Live is to do live games. But we wanted to find a way to do it with less pressure, and that's where Grid Live comes in. It's not going to have the audience that MBL Live does. There's no pressure of, maybe EA too, maybe Rex Dixon tunes in. It's no pressure whatsoever. So our hope is that it's a teaching tool for the people who get to be on it, give them some reps, and also it gives an opportunity for those guys who are playing in Grid and want the bright lights of MBL Live and want to know what it's like to be playing a game with 20, 30 people watching online, whatever that number is, to just put up their game and play that game. And I look forward to hopefully expanding it in the future. I'd love to see a couple games and really turn it into something big. But for the moment, just with the little numbers we have, if more people can get that streaming going, more people can have the internet basically to get the games going, and more people get interested in being on it, we can do more games and it can sort of turn into its own thing.
I agree. I think for me personally, as a guy who's in the Grid, I'm always, down to do the, voiceovers and everything. I look at it like this. We could have at one point, because the bar in the Grid is way higher than it was in past years. I think that once these guys get the rhythm and everybody gets the rhythm and everybody from my Grid just kind of gets it in, I think eventually we can start doing some crossovers. You guys call a Grid game, we call an NBL game, sort of like college basketball and the NBA does.
Yeah.
It can be interesting. We can see what happens there. I mean, it takes some research, but we're all willing to do it. That's why we do it.
Yeah, I think it's cool because we do have a lot of people interested in being on the actual call. So we're going to be looking to in the next couple of weeks as we sort of get through playoffs in the MBL and get into a new season. We're going to be looking at expanding it for sure because we want to give Grid guys as many chances to get on the call as they can. The biggest obstacle we have right now is I think out of the 32 people we have in Grid, we only have about 6 or 7 that can stream at a level that's viewable. So the more people we get to stream, the more people that test their stream out, the more games we can put on, and that's great for Grid and it's great for the network.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree definitely. Now, before I let you go, I want to look into something here. You guys, whenever you do another highly debatable, I want in. I want to do some research, and I want to be on the show. I like to debate both of you guys. You guys are amazing. The atmosphere on there it's just calling me. I'm putting that out there. And then also, best of luck getting in those playoffs. I need you to make some upsets. I need you to take down the Chargers.
Sure.
I need to go, you got, I've checked all your stats. You've got that one division win under your belt right now. I need you to get more of those. But right now, screw it. Let's get a conference win.
Sure.
Let's go take the AFC. Let's take the title. And let's show people how it's done.
Step one, let's get a nice little win tonight so I can just be in the playoffs. But yeah, no, hey, I appreciate it. I love what you're doing over in Grid. It's great to see some passion over there. We're looking at highly debatable. It's been fun because we've been able to do so many weeks of it that we're now starting to get into where we're mixing things up. So we'd love to have you on and keep doing what you're doing because it's great seeing the activity over there in Grid.
Oh, definitely. Thank you. Oh, and one more thing. Do you have any advice to all the come-ups, all the guys who are in Grid that are trying to get to that top 5 list, everybody who's trying to get in that NBL realm, to bring their game up to that level?
Sure.
Do you have any advice?
My advice number one, put in work. Put in work. Do what you can. When you get opportunities, when opportunities come up in Grid, do them. Let's be clear. I was in Grid for 7 months, 8 months before I got called up. I didn't become network director until I was on the network for about 5 months. It is a grind. There are a lot of people here. Everybody's vying for spots. So do your work in Grid. And if you're interested in being on the network, just jump into Grid Live. Say you're interested. Even if you're not on the stream, pull up the games and just call it for yourself. You can record it and listen back to yourself. That's what I did when I first started MBL Live. Was I just watched MBL games that were streamed, just recorded it to myself and listened it back. Always ask for advice. I'm always around. On Isolate's always around, the assistant network director. We want to help as many people get involved as they can. But Grid's a great opportunity. There aren't many leagues that have a developmental league. So take advantage while you're there. Show why you are going to be a worthy member to the MBL. I know it may take a while for somebody to leave, but once you get up here, don't let go of that chance. We've had so many people come up to MBL and then they do one thing or another and then they leave. And I can make a list of so many people who have messaged me back and go, man, I wish I hadn't left MBL. Man, I wish I hadn't done that and gotten kicked out of MBL. Hold on to it as long as you can because this is a special thing we got going on here.
Definitely, it's definitely the best league in the game right now. I don't know if anybody understands just how much passion and work is put into this, but this man here is the embodiment of all of that. Thank you for coming. We're gonna definitely leave on a somber note though. We want to give our prayers out to everybody in Florida and all the incident that happened. Everybody, speedy recovery and good things to all those families. Grid Squad out.